Okay. This is Rachel at SBU TV, and I'm here interviewing Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, do you consider nonviolence as a form of action despite the passive connotations to the sound of the term?
Absolutely. I think nonviolence is definitely not passive. It's an active expression of our commitment to justice and to reconciliation. So it is a very positive thing. And it's definitely not, anyone truly committed to nonviolence is not sitting comfortably on the sidelines. He's out there.
Do you feel that a society should be free from untouchables, and that untouchables is that term, that concept is a social evil?
It is a terrible social evil. It's a crime. It's a shame. And we in India have to accept that we have had this for a long time. And although it is now abolished by law and the Indian constitution prohibits it, still it is often something that is practiced by society because the law doesn't always influence society. And so we must recognize it as an enormous injustice and a shame, and something that Indians must continue to do all they can to fight.
Can you, do you think we can compare the from the New Testament where it says love the sinner, hate the sin, with oppose but not hate?
Yes, I think so. I think the two are definitely compatible. But I think in Gandhi's case, we have to recognize that he's not just recommending a principle for daily life. He's also advocating a strategy for a kind of struggle. And so we have to figure that out in practice. For instance, if we feel that some group is oppressing us or is against us, we have to oppose that group. But if we start hating them, not only is it wrong on moral principle, it also doesn't work strategically or politically. So that is the significance of Gandhi's fight. The British have to be opposed when they were ruling India, and it was not only a desirable thing morally, it was absolutely essential strategically. Otherwise, the British would have kind of divided the Indians.
You taught me something on the nature of fear when you were speaking, and you talked about how fear can turn into hate, and how on the positive side, fear can turn into friendship. How is that possible to transform a negative feeling of fear into something positive like friendship? And can that be done on a level of Stony Brook students here, or as well as on a national level?
I'm glad you captured an important sentence in my talk, and this was part of Gandhi's life. You know, he was raised in this atmosphere of fear, atmosphere of prejudice and suspicion, and yet there were these people that his family had told him terrible things about, you know, the Muslims say. And he meets them and he decides that he will kind of put aside his fear. He'll regard them as human beings, and he will kind of put aside his fear, and he will make friends with them, and that just changed his life. And that fear could easily have become hatred. And today, I'm speaking of India, but I think it's true of other parts of the world also, many of the tensions that erupt in violence, that express hatred, at their root is fear. Yeah.
Thank you. I noticed that you're going to be making an appearance at the Rally for Peace this afternoon. Why do you think it's important for students, faculty, administration, anybody interested to attend this rally?
I'm attending this rally, though I'm a visitor from India. I'm not an American, I'm an Indian. I'm attending this rally because I know of the supreme importance that America holds for the world. And this is a great moment for America, where America has to decide its approach to the rest of the world. America has to decide its approach to hostile acts against America. And so America needs wisdom, America needs patience, and a kind of gut reaction, and a violent reaction, and an angry reaction, and a reaction that says that, well, those people out there are enemies or are evil. That is not good for the future of America, and not good for the future of the world. So I'm very keen at this moment to support my American friends who want America's policies to be governed on the basis of wisdom, on the basis of the kind of new world we all want to create.
Do you feel that a war on Iraq would be immoral at this point?
I think, from what I know of Saddam Hussein, I think there's nothing that we can say in defense of him. He has done some terrible things. So we are not here talking about comparing his morality against, say, the morality of attacking him. That's not my stand. My stand is that at this moment, America has to decide how it is perceived by the rest of the world, how it's perceived by the poor people of the world, how it's perceived by the Muslims of the world, who are a very important group in the world. And unfortunately, America's rhetoric, America's action has conveyed the impression to many Muslims around the world that somehow America has, official America, has accepted that the Muslims, you know, are at fault, sweepingly. So a war against Iraq at this juncture can contribute to that feeling. So that's one reason why I'm not in favor of that. Another reason I'm not in favor of it is a purely practical one, that supposing the war takes place, it destabilizes the region, it destabilizes many other countries there. And then what about the reconstruction? And is America involved in that? Is America committed to that? I see no signs of that. So as a political scientist, as a realist too, I have these questions.
On that note, do you feel that the long-term damages of war are avoidable, and that taking steps towards bringing out peace nationwide is a better alternative than long-term destruction and bloodshed again?
Of course, bloodshed has to be avoided if at all it can be avoided. But I'm not here to say that there's a wonderful, simple, easy answer to Iraq. There isn't. It's a very tough situation that America faces and the world face. But I think America must also think about whether she should do this by herself. What about America's great allies, traditional allies in Europe, in Japan, elsewhere, East Asia? America must address these tremendously difficult questions in dialogue with, in cooperation with the rest of the world. And this is not happening at the moment.